Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again back here at the Greetery YouTube channel. I'm here to introduce an innovative new collection of dies called Macramé Builder. These dies are so fun to play around with for creating backgrounds, focal points, borders, and more. So there are 3 different die sets that make up the Macramé Builder collection. The first one is called Macramé Borders and Tassels, and it consists of 3 different borders: a zigzag border, a solid knotted border, and then a little flower border, as well as some little individual flowers and tassels. And the detail on these dies is really fun. You can see how they have all these little cut details, and they just look really realistic when you put them all together to create a macrame look. The second set of dies in the Macramé Builder collection is Macramé Diamonds. And so this set consists of a diamond border and then a layer of diamond details that can be layered underneath of that border. And then there's also a die that cuts a negative, like, open work base, so that if you wanted to cut these little peekaboo open lacy effects onto a panel, you can use that negative die to do that, and then you can layer the diamond border over the top and you get this really pretty lacy effect. There is also an individual diamond as well as the little individual detail to go along with that. So the third set of dies in this collection is called Macramé Open Work Base, and this die consists of 4 pieces, 3 dies that cut open work details from a panel of cardstock, and then a zigzag border. So you can see here there is a chevron open work, diamond open work, and then just a straight. And this straight one also works really great for creating fringe. So if you just trim off one of the edges, you have a really fun way of creating some fringe. The zigzag border coordinates with both the chevron open work, allowing you to die cut a decorative edge to match that, or it also coordinates with the diamond, both edges of the diamond, depending on which way you flip that die. So then you can cut a decorative border and you have this really pretty effect. So let's go ahead and see these dies in action and use them to create a pretty macrame background. So I'm starting off with a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of cardstock. These dies are all 5 1/2 inch long, so you can use them on the long side of a standard A2 card base, or of course you can use them for a vertical orientation as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start building a design. I kind of planned this out in my head ahead of time. I'm going to first of all cut some pretty designs in the background using the open work dies. And so I'm going to just play around with placement a little bit and make sure that I can get everything centered and positioned how I want it. And I'm going to use a little washi tape to hold those in place. So I'm starting off with the zigzag border and also the open work diamonds from the Macramé Diamond set. So I'm going to go ahead and run those through my machine. You may need to incorporate a metal shim into your sandwich depending on your machine. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a back and forth pass. So then you can see we have a start to our pretty design. So I'm going to go ahead and continue building the design, and I'm going to use once again this chevron open work, and I'm going to position that below the diamonds that we already cut. And then I'm also going to use the straight open work die. And I'll position that right below. So now you can see we have this really pretty panel. I'm actually going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer and trim off this bottom section so that we end up with some cute fringe. So I trimmed off that bottom edge so I have a cute little fringe effect along the bottom there. Now I can go ahead and embellish my panel with some of the borders and details from the die collection. So it's really fun to play around with all kinds of different designs. Everything coordinates so well between the 3 die sets that you can really get creative and create so many different patterns and designs. I'm using white and cream cardstock here, but you can definitely get creative with some color as well. Now I'll just trim off the excess from around the edges, and we're left with this beautiful lacy panel. In addition to creating beautiful backgrounds and borders, you can of course also use these dies along with some of our other dies. For example, our new boho banner. I combined a lot of the macrame dies with that as well and created this cute banner shaped note card. I also played around with creating some lacy hoops using our new hoop and fringe along with these Macramé Builder dies. And so I wanted to give you a little tip for creating these lacy hoops. I used the inside circle from the hoop and fringe die. This is the large hoop. I used that inside negative portion of the circle. I die cut some of the open work macrame, and then you can go ahead and embellish it with the borders. To attach the hoop, simply leave some excess around the edges from your macrame borders. Add a little bit of adhesive to those, and then you can layer that outer hoop right over the top. And those excess edges will keep everything. And you can just go ahead and trim off the excess from around the outer edge of the hoop. Well, that wraps up this look into our new die collection called Macramé Builder. I hope you enjoyed it, and I think you're going to love playing around with these dies. There's so many options, and they create just beautiful projects. These new dies will be available beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, November 27 from thegreetery.com.